Ha not funny.
Colin.
It's going rogue left and right, man.
And Mike, the Ape Man.
Oh my goodness gracious.
PTR Radio.
You ready to kick ass?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. That's right.
Yes,
We're
fabulous.
Yes, it's super fabulous. And I am getting the toy up for Mike, and so everything will be awesome and great, and he can put everybody up, and people can see themselves. Well, they can't see themselves, but they can see things. So, oh gosh, it's been a long day. It's been a really long day. It's been a long weekend. We are.
It's been a long life.
Know that.
Completely honest with you.
Okay, Colin, hold on. Who was that man behind the curtain, and what did he have to interrupt the show for?
For something I already know.
Don't yell at your landlord. That's not good. It might kick you out. All right.
The house might be noisy for a little bit longer, then they're all going away.
Oh, okay. Because your house is such a hustle and bustle, you know.
Well, it's the starting off point to a trip to a high school band recital honors thing.
Okay. Very descriptive.
So they all came here first, and then they're leaving from here to back out again.
Ah, well, that makes total sense then. So yeah. Oh, but no. We're gearing up for cookie time here. It's already started. Cookie baking time.
Oh,
Preparation has begun.
So wait a second. Are you skipping Halloween and going straight to Christmas cookies?
Well, no. I'm just saying the preparation has started. See, we have to start stocking up on materials, Mike, because we were told for Halloween there was going to be a candy shortage. And so we started buying candy like 4 weeks ahead of time. So we have a surplus of candy. Well, now we've been told that there is going to be a butter shortage. And I offered to buy her a churn, and I was told no.
I was going to say, that probably went over like a lead balloon.
And I said, well, we buy cows all the time. Where's the milk? Where's the butter from these cows that we buy? And she said, we only get the meat, not the milk. And I said, well, what is the deal? I bought the whole cow. There should be butter and milk, in there.
In using your logic, there should be fertilizer as well.
Well, we've got plants. We could use that.
And gelatin.
Yes. There's always room for Jell-O.
Or collagen.
Yeah. I could make beauty products here.
Okay.
We could make PTR beauty products.
So
we've got animals to test on. So
butter shortage. Let's analyze this for a second.
Yes.
Because I had not heard that there was going to be a butter shortage. However, I did have to bring 3 pounds of butter up to my father-in-law's when I went up to Maine because the price of butter up there apparently has gone through the roof.
Oh, it is about 100% higher than what it normally is.
It had to be Land O'Lakes for him to do his baking with.
Well, see,
That's
it's about $4.50-ish a box of 4 sticks right now here. So I bought.
Is a box a pound or is a box?
A box is a pound.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
So it's 4 quarter-pound sticks. So.
Okay.
But So today I had to go to Sam's to get a cake ordered. And so I went ahead and she goes, well, if they have butter, pick it up because they're going to be out of butter. There was a mountain of butter at Sam's. If it's any indication, we're not going to incur a butter shortage if it holds true. But I think what's happening is I think they got a cue from the toilet paper people. And they said, hey, listen, if we say there's going to be a shortage, there'll be a bum rush on X product and we won't be able to we'll have record sales because we'll create a shortage, And so I'm going to announce right now there's a shortage of PTR Radio podcasts. All right. So they're limited, very limited. There's only so many on the shelf at Libsyn.
Wait. That's not going to work.
Why not?
Because people are just going to like, oh no, I have to save my PTR radio and not actually listen to them because
it's just subscriptions.
So I need to save them up.
It's just subscriptions. Subscriptions. There's a shortage. There's plenty of us.
Okay, there you go. There's a shortage of subscriptions.
Hold on. I'm going to do this. There's no shortage of us. All right. There's lots of us. All right. So, yeah. So I picked up almost $50 worth of butter today. So
yeah. There's not going to be a shortage of butter. The butter prices are terrible. I think it's officially up 32% is what I'm seeing. But they're saying there's not actually going to be – you're not going to find no butter. It's just going to cost too much.
No, look. The Pioneer Woman has said it. She said it October 4th. The U.S. is facing a butter shortage in 2022.
The only people who care about that are the people that are making butter sculptures. They are going to have to start taking a trick from the Cake Boss and building their frames out of Rice Krispie treats.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but most butter sculptures are completely hollow. The little trick, you only know this if you're on the inside of things, but it's just a wire frame.
How the hell did you get on the inside of a butter sculpting ring?
I have my ways. I have my ways of knowing what goes on in the inner workings of the butter circle. So
one of the more famous butter cows is here where we live. So
don't give away all my secrets.
We get enough stories about them.
Don't give away all my secrets.
No, you have your own secrets because you actually have your own,
black market butter business.
Yeah, all I have are news articles to read about.
Mm-hmm.
You have secret webcams.
I'm in the butter Illuminati. Most people don't know about them. We try and stay under the radar. But we rule the world through dairy. Yeah, the butterati. But no, Pioneer Woman says there's butter. That's why prices have gone up 25% or more.
Okay, so here's my question, Shaggy. Going back to the first step.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of this candy that is being saved up for cookie making is actually Hershey's?
No. We're not stockpiling candy yet. We haven't. Nobody has said there's going to be a chip shortage. All right. Besides, we have already gotten specialty chips last year. All right.
No. I believe Colin is asking about the Halloween candy.
Oh no, Halloween candy is never a problem. There's never a problem with excessive Halloween candy. Because as I said, there is lots of PTR radio to go around.
Yeah, but my question, Shaggy, was you're stockpiling candy because there was supposed to be a shortage of candy.
Yep, shortage of candy.
So what percentage of that stockpiling of candy was actually Hershey's?
A lot. I mean,
okay.
Of the Hershey's brand, it was a lot, yeah. Because when you count M&Ms and, I don't know if they make Paydays, but Paydays and Three Musketeers and Milky Ways and I don't know. I'm just saying. We got the good stuff. You know, if one chocolate company is going to complain that there's going to be a candy shortage, you know the other companies are just afraid to say it. You know, because they're afraid that suddenly the real best candy of Halloween is going to take over, and suddenly the Sixlet company is going to become king candy. There's nothing better than Sixlets. Those are great. I just wish they came in bigger, things. I love those.
Ooh.
Shaggy wants like a paintball gun style hopper that he can just...
Yeah. Oh, that would be good. Gumball size Sixlets? That'd be great.
So here's the interesting thing about Sixlets. Apparently they forgot to renew their domain.
Can we buy it?
It's for sale.
What? Sixlets.com is available?
Oh, no, I was reading it wrong. It's actually unavailable.
Yeah.
So it's not that... I thought when I first saw it that the domain was for sale from one of those scalpers.
Oh,
But
yeah.
no, it's just actually down at the moment. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, they're getting inundated because of the candy shortage. So, anyway. But, yeah. So Mike, I did DJ... yesterday, trunk or treat. Thank you for helping with that, by the way. Appreciate the information. It was very helpful.
You're quite welcome.
And I went in costume, and it went fairly well. Nobody knew who the hell I was.
I am not going in costume to my event on Thursday.
Why
I
not?
absolutely refuse. If anybody asks what I'm going to be, what are you dressed as? I am dressed as a DJ.
I would love to see you doing it, DJing in your goalie outfit. That would be great. Wiki with the gloves.
Nope. Actually, I was thinking I might just wear one of my jerseys and my mask, but I'm not going to get crazy about it.
Yeah. No, see, the great thing is, for me, my costume was really just a hat and clothes that I would normally wear anyway, and a fake mustache.
My other option is to go as a weeping angel, but I don't think any of the kids will get that.
No, probably not. They're a bit young.
Oh. Are we going to talk about that?
What? Weeping Angels?
What?
Or
Doctor
Halloween?
Who.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't watched Doctor Who in like 2 years.
Yeah, I know that Jodie Whittaker's final episode came up, and I think the last time we spoke about it was when they announced who her replacement was going to be, and I was waiting for somebody to tell me, how I should know this person.
Okay. So yes, so that happened yesterday, and the 14th Doctor was revealed.
Mm-hmm.
His name is David Tennant.
Yeah, but didn't they like? I'm just reading a headline, and I haven't watched it. But it says Doctor Who ends Jodie Whittaker's era with an infuriating mess.
Well, Jodie Whittaker's run, not from her doing, it's from the people running the show, was a mess. So that Doctor died, regenerated into the new 14th Doctor, who is David Tennant, to the shock of the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, wait a second, I know these teeth.
Uh-huh.
It's not a joke. It's literally, and then some what's. So David Tennant returns as the Doctor next November, along with Catherine Tate. And there's going to be 3 special episodes with the 14th Doctor, and I can't remember what Catherine Tate's character name was.
Donna Noble.
Donna Noble. So it's going to be the Doctor and Donna, and apparently a new Rose. No one really quite knows what's going on with that. So anyway, there's going to be 3 of those episodes, and then that Doctor is going to be replaced by the 15th Doctor, who is the black gay guy that they revealed earlier this year.
Wow, that is an utter mess.
So basically,
I think it's all about throwing out the everything that's been happening because Russell T. Davis is taking the show back over. So I think this is a 3-episode. Let's reset the Doctor back to something that's understandable.
Are you sure it's not just about trying to get the audience back, since
That
they
too.
had such a massive falling off? And so, they want to try and, oh, hey, listen, we heard you. We brought back your favorite for a short time.
I don't think there's no question about that. That is definitely
Pandering. It's pandering. It's Doctor Who pandering.
Yes, it's big time Doctor Who pandering. Yes,
They should just call it Dr. Panda.
Including getting back to somebody who knows what they're doing. Yes. And I am there for it.
If they really wanted to do it, they should have gotten Eccleston to do a 3 show.
No, they can't get Eccleston to come
I
back.
know they should. Well, I bet if they offered him enough money, they could. Hey, Eccleston,
They don't have that much money.
Here's $100 million for 3 episodes. And
That's enough money to run the BBC.
so
Considering the politicians have been trying to take away the automatic tax, so that BBC needs to come up with a different way of funding themselves. They don't have that much money to throw.
Oh, speaking of the British government, because politics that aren't the U.S. we can talk about. So the new Prime Minister is left, and so now there was a rumor for a while that Boris Johnson was going to be the next Prime Minister again. But now he said no, I'm getting out of politics. But somebody charted a graph of prime ministers and their days in office, and it is like 45 degrees trending down. And they said at this rate, after this next prime minister, the one following will be in power minus 200 days before they quit. So they will quit almost a year before they're hired.
So what they're I think what's going to have to happen is that this new prime minister is going to have to immediately call for a new vote. And so everybody will go out and re-vote, and then we'll see who's actually going to be the new prime minister after that vote happens. But what's interesting is this will be the first non-white person to be prime minister of the UK.
Yeah. Well, I was reading something that said, not that we are a white nationalist podcast or anything. I just find this interesting because, like, I would, and I hate that I have to disclaimer that, or that I even have to state it. But the fact that I'm going to give out, I have to put that out there. But when I was in my early teens, I kept getting told, oh well, the Hispanic population is growing at a rate that means that they will be the majority within 20 years. Okay, well that came and passed, and it's still not there. But I did. I read an article today that said, hey, projections again are saying that within the next 20 years, Caucasian will no longer be the majority ethnicity or race in the U.S. And that has some political figures worried.
Well,
Now,
of course
doesn't
does.
have me worried because I'm Mexican, so I'm okay. I'm just gonna hang with my people and we'll be all right. But you whiteys, you might have to worry about something. So
Don't befund me none. I'm not in Congress.
So I was just, I'm like, okay, well, I've heard this before, and now I'm hearing it again, and it's just, it was just something interesting to read because it does come up all the time, and like I said, I don't really have a dog in the fight one way or the other, I told my daughter, I'm like, I don't care if you come home with a woman as long as she's attractive, because I have my standards for you. And if I got to see you kiss a girl, she better be cute. So, you know, that was my speech.
Or rich.
No, she'd have to be both.
Why?
Because I have standards for my kid.
Okay.
No, she could do better.
That's fine.
She could do better. Ugly and rich does not, you know. Now maybe maybe some ugly rich girl got a great personality. I don't know. I never met one. You know.
What if she came home with Rosie O'Donnell?
No, and no.
What if she came home with Madonna? Madonna goes both ways now.
No, because Madonna's like 65.
And she's rich.
No, because Madonna came out the other day and said something. I don't know. I don't even remember what the hell she said, but she said something weird.
They all come out and say stuff now. Okay, it's
you know.
What if she came home with Kanye?
Oh hell no! And it has nothing to do with his historical background. It has everything to do with him.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So let's go back to this real quick though, Shaggy, because I just want to throw.
You want to go back to white nationalism?
Facts in.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Just how the world actually works, which some people don't understand. Okay. So, for example, who used to not be white?
Everybody.
So, the Irish were not white.
No, they were drunk.
So
they used to be sober too, but that's not, you know.
The actual Spanish and Portuguese, not white. Italians, not white. There's a lot of populations, right, that were originally not white. You know, that's why in Blazing Saddles, there's the joke about how, you know, they'll let, you know, all these in, but they don't want the Irish. And so, like, I'm looking at this site here that does demographics, and this site knows what's actually going to happen because it's usafacts.org.
Mm-hmm.
So, in all the charts here on racial stuff, there's a little slider button that lets you hide the Hispanic ethnicity.
Oh, well, that just seems racist.
No, because what they're saying is, and this is really what's going to happen, is that as the number of Hispanics goes up, they're just going to become white.
Well, that's assuming.
I don't see that happening.
No, that is what has happened in the past. Is that as other groups get large enough, they just become part of the majority.
I don't know. Have you seen LA? Because that seems to prove opposite.
Now, looking at the actual numbers, okay, right here in 2021, which is, you know, last census, we were at 59.3% white, not Hispanic. We were at, let's see, what are these numbers? Hispanic Latino was at 18.9%. Black non-Hispanic was 12.6%. Asian non-Hispanic is 5.9%. Okay? So the point is, you look at those numbers and you say, okay, we're at 59.3% white. Okay?
So are you saying... So basically you're saying that the white man is diluting all the other races.
I'm saying the white majority dilutes itself as soon as it needs to.
Which is weird because it's the opposite.
Which is terrible.
Racist.
That's the way.
It's like the opposite that racist arguments use.
Because so in 2010 it was a
Mike is
63.8.
I know Mike's like, pick another topic. For God's sakes, pick another topic.
In case y'all haven't noticed, like, I'm muting myself every once in a while because I'm like, I'm battling a cold here, and I don't know where the hell it came from. So when I got to blow my nose, I mute myself.
Oh, no. That's okay.
And I'm constantly checking to make sure that I'm not – I don't know whether I'm muted or not. So
you are.
I'm just sitting here being quiet just in case.
No.
'Cause I cannot follow these percentages. I feel like Common Core math is failing me. The only thing that I've gotten out of this so far is that potentially Biden is going to pay for Ancestry.com for everyone so you can figure out where the hell you actually came from and stop being lazy and saying Caucasian. You are – because 99% of the world is not really Caucasian.
That's right.
So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what I think the end game is here. So eventually what Colin is saying is Hispanics are going to become lazy and just say, no, okay, we're white. That's it. That's what he's saying.
I'm saying the white majority will decide they're white. That way they still keep their majority because that's what the majority does.
But the question is,
Yes.
the big question is, if everyone turns white, what soup do they pick to throw on famous artworks?
Oh, those morons. That's a good thing they keep choosing artwork that is covered with glass, you know?
Oh, well, according to her Instagram account,
why do they always
knew.
glue themselves to the wall? What's the point of that? You've already done the soup. What are you gluing yourself to the wall for? So people will listen to your speech? No. Nobody cares.
The only thing people care about is you picked the wrong brand of soup. Nobody eats Heinz tomato soup.
And why did these morons do it? Because it was painted with oil paint. Which has nothing to do with petroleum-based products and drilling.
No.
Do you know what oil that oil paint is made of? Probably linseed oil.
Yeah.
You know,
no one is
I don't know that
painting.
there was a lot of offshore drilling in Van Gogh's day. You know, I don't think that was a whole lot of that. I don't remember a ton of whaling ships
are ever made of that kind of oil. I think it's all plant oil.
So, there you go. There's something you can Google, Colin. What oil did Van Gogh use?
No, I already know that. It's probably linseed oil.
So, but yeah, these two, for those of you that don't know, two eco activists, as they call themselves, threw soup on Van Gogh's sunflowers in a London art gallery. And, they said it was an act to demand that Britain halt all new oil and gas projects. Okay. Now, these are the same type of activists who also demand that, Britain stops importing oil from Russia in order to protest the Ukraine war. So I don't know if they rode their bicycle to the art gallery or not, but it's like it or not, fossil fuels is a part of the world we live in right now, and even if you drive an electric vehicle, guess what? You still consume some form of fossil fuels unless you happen to live in a place with a nuclear reactor.
But even then, there is the fact that most of these vehicles, there's environmental impact that's like the dirty secret that they don't want to talk about, like the drilling to get the
strip mining
into batteries.
Yeah.
So, and yes, it is traditionally linseed, walnut, safflower, or poppy oil. Knowing Van Gogh, it was probably poppy oil, and he smoked it after he pressed it.
I mean, all the oils that they want us to use in all of our diesel cars as biodiesel. So,
Oh, Teresa.
So, I mean, I've never figured out eco evangelism or any type of this type of evangelism or activism.
Well, I have another question regarding this, and this is a general question that may actually offend some people. I don't know, but how exactly is someone a professional activist? Like,
Do they have business cards?
How do you earn a living being an activist? I don't quite understand. How do you earn a living protesting? And is this the root of most of these conspiracy theories out there?
Well, that is a good question.
Because I see these people when they're on, like, interviewed on for news broadcasts, and the title says professional activist. Well, how? How do you make your money?
Oh no, she works in like road construction or something. I think she works for like a village, because I saw her in. They interviewed her like at her work or something, and she's like a flag girl or something. So, yeah.
Most professional activists are also known as lobbyists, and they tend to have some way of making money because it's something that people care about. People give money to it because they get a tax break. But when you're talking someone who's throwing paint on something, that they stood at the side of a road one time with a sign, and someone gave them a coin, and because they made money, they're now a professional activist.
Here's 10 tips to become a professional activist. You ready, Mike? This is your path to activism.
I don't want a path to activism, but go ahead.
Commit to small actions. Get educated on the issues.
What you're doing is wrong. I read it on Wikipedia. Go ahead.
Join a local group. Get involved in the political process.
You lost me right there. I hate the political process.
If you're a student, look for classes and degrees in relevant fields.
So that your student loans can get paid off and you can go ahead.
Get experience. Be flexible and willing to go where you're needed.
This is starting to sound like when you complete all 10 steps, you get a buffalo headdress and some red and white paint.
Develop a personal mission statement. Boy, that sounds like manifesto, doesn't it?
Holy God. Yeah, this is going to get you on a list if you do this stuff.
Stand up to oppression and discrimination when you see it.
Damn the man. Save the empire.
Maintain a support network.
What in the actual hell?
I assume they mean like legal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's your 10 steps to becoming a activist. It's a 10-step program.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, 2 less than alcoholism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. So, let's see here. What else?
Well, okay, so let's talk about the big news that broke today. That
yes.
I think shocked every single one of us to our core, and that is a tragic death.
Yes.
I thought I was being punked when it got posted, but Leslie Jordan passed away today.
Yeah, that was kind of tragic. Well, I mean, it's always tragic when somebody passes away, but it's definitely, not good. And, we wish that hadn't, obviously happened. So,
now, it's being reported that he died in a car crash, but I think, Colin, first thing you noted when you saw the picture that was posted on TMZ was it doesn't look like a very serious car crash. They're saying that he had some kind of medical emergency. My guess would probably be a heart attack of some kind that caused him to lose control, and the crash was
well, and they said that
secondary.
he was suffering from a medical condition, while driving, which contributed to the car accident, and he was pronounced dead on the scene.
Yeah. So 67 years old. It's terrible because he was one of those good guys.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
More so than Bill Murray as of late, because it seems like a lot of people are coming at Bill Murray all of a sudden. But
yeah, I don't know that I totally understand that one, but yeah. So
you were desperate to try
I will
to
say
get this new cam work.
I was very desperate to get this thing to work because I can do this, maybe, or it doesn't. Damn you!
As soon as you told me that, though, Mike,
it doesn't.
I was instantly going on Twitter to see how many people were going to refer to Leslie Jones being dead.
Did it happen? I didn't.
No.
Oh yeah, it happened many times.
Okay.
Not people referring to Leslie Jones being dead, but putting the wrong name. Like his picture with hashtag Leslie Jones.
So that's like, okay, so that's kind of close. Okay, now it's working. Are you happy?
Yes, now it's working.
You got to move slower.
No, I had to turn the damn thing on.
Oh.
AI tracking, you have to click a button.
It's not as bad as Rachel Nichols, the racist ESPN reporter, and Rachel Nichols from Continuum, and G.I. Joe, and the green chick from Star Trek. Rachel Nichols from Continuum was getting an alias and other things. She was getting slammed on Twitter, people tagging the wrong person. I felt so bad.
Yeah. We've run into that situation a time or two where,
Robin Hood, was that the one where the trading company the crypto trading company was getting slammed?
Well, Robin Hood stock
trades on GameStop. Yeah.
Stock trading.
So everybody's tagging Robin Hood, but Robin Hood was actually for like a charitable organization.
So
people, if you're going to tag someone on Twitter, make sure you're tagging the right person. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I used our account. I used our Twitter account to bash PNC one time here recently, and then just recently I reported a bug in a piece of software under our Twitter account. So
Okay.
Hey, views are views, my friend.
I think the next time, well, I don't have access to the Twitter account. I was going to say, the next time I have a problem with politicians here in Jersey, I might use the Twitter account. A threat that, we're going to...
Feel free.
We're going to talk about this one.
Yeah. Not
like the New York political candidate.
Well, I just real quick, before we get off of Leslie Jordan, a lot of people were talking about Call Me Cat and and Will and Grace, and Cool Kids for me was one of his best roles. Between that and what I originally knew him from, which was Ski Patrol, which I was upset wasn't mentioned in several of the articles at all. And so, yeah, it's just been, I don't know. It's,
Well, here's the thing, okay? We adore him for that. But when Jim Carrey passes away, they are not going to list Once Bitten as
but they should. They should, because he hates that movie so much. They should. They should just to do it.
I mean, American Horror Story, he had a ton of people following him because of that. I didn't realize that he played Benjamin Franklin in the last Sharknado.
No, I vaguely remembered it.
Should be listed.
Yeah,
that should be listed among his.
I found a TV show he was in that I had never heard of before, and obviously it didn't last very long, but it was Where was it? It was here. It was before Cool
Boston
Kids.
Legal?
Called Living the Dream. And it says, Mal, Jen, and their 2 children swap rainy Yorkshire for a new life running a booming RV park in Florida, but it soon becomes clear that they aren't going to be living the dream they had hoped for. And he plays one of the primary characters. I mean, he's listed in like the top 6. He was in all 12 episodes that aired. So, you know, now I've put my computer on a mission to find it, where I can stream it from. And then he was in this other movie which sounded so up our alley, and I'm struggling to find it. It's called Whoa, WHOA, exclamation point. And it's weird. It's from 2013, but I can't find it anywhere. It says, Whoa is a story about Corey Neiman, a recently divorced family law attorney who loses his Hollywood Hills home in a mudslide and is then conned by his ex-mother-in-law, Deborah Blackburn, into buying a condo in a seemingly tranquil complex. Corey's new home, however, immediately becomes his worst nightmare since his next-door neighbors are porn producers. His ex-wife...
How in the hell is this up our alley? Our alley, collectively. No.
It sounds like it's up
No.
Shaggy's alley.
Uh-huh.
His ex-wife lives across the courtyard with her gigolo boyfriend, and the Westerly's Home Association president, Theodore Willinghouse III, who is Leslie Jordan, is a power-hungry little dictator who runs the WHOA like the Third Reich.
No.
Now, it sounds like it has all of the things that we look for in a show. He was in it. It wasn't going to be a hardcore porn.
It doesn't matter, dude. It was going to be that Skinamax type stuff that's just enough to get you angry.
And for some reason, it won winner Best Webisode 2013 Independent Film Quarterly Festival. So was it only a... Boy, it sucks not being able to find some of this stuff. So anyway, I was looking for that. But yeah, I was just trying to find him in like stuff that I couldn't, that I hadn't seen him in, and thought, well, maybe we'll see. DTLA, I'm not sure what that is. Okay, never mind.
I'm thinking what I know about TV production, I'm going to assume that they were like in the writing period for Call Me Cat. So I'm hoping that means that, whatever, recent episodes were fully complete. So they're probably just going to end up with the next episode. I mean, who knows what that means? I always feel bad, of course, for the family and friends and stuff. But I also just think of, professionally having to deal with that. It's
it's
interesting.
sad because Kim and I were talking about Call Me Cat, and we kind of fell off. It became like the last resort show on the DVR. Like, okay, it's a half-hour show, so we can watch it real quick if we need to. But it hasn't been that good this season. Now we both kind of feel like we've got to watch it to see how they handle this.
Yeah.
Because it's sad when it happens out of nowhere. I'm trying to think where there was... Where else they had to do this? Where like a member of the cast died and they had to work it into the script. I'm trying to think.
How the hell did I miss? I don't know this. Anybody remember?
Especially on a sitcom.
I mean, I know. I remember like 8 Simple Rules. Was it with John Ritter?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like mid-season when it happened. It might have been.
Yeah. I'm not sure. What? Boy. Now I'm finding him in shows, and I'm seeing shows that I don't remember ever watching.
Hey, somebody watches on Twitch. Dune cannot use words, apparently.
No, it's just
know.
just emoji.
That's what the cool kids are doing.
Yep, I hear that. I hear that is the cool kids are on the Twitch. You know.
So there will be an on-air in memoriam at the end of Thursday's episode, but they have paused production for now.
Okay.
Huh. All right. I've found several shows I now want to download or find that he was in. So
stream. Legally stream.
Legally stream.
That's the only way we do things.
Subscribe and stream. You know. So anyway, so yeah. Now, Mike, you on the subject of television found that Netflix is releasing a documentary.
Yes.
It's
a documentary I actually want to see.
It does look exciting.
Because back in the day, so there were two things that I remember from back in the day that you can't do anymore. The first was Marlboro points or Marlboro flags.
Mm-hmm.
So every pack was 5 points. And I got a pair of Dan Post cowboy boots from the Marlboro catalog. And I also had a Marlboro flannel blanket.
It was like camel bucks.
Basically. For the non-smokers and underage, there were Pepsi points.
Yep.
And during one commercial, they said for 7 million Pepsi points, you could get a Harrier jump jet. For those who don't know what a Harrier jump jet is, if you ever saw the movie True Lies, it's the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger flies in the end, the one that can take off vertically.
Yeah.
Well, this documentary is about the guy that actually got 7 million Pepsi bucks.
Who put him to task and said, hey, there was no fine print. This is a legally binding agreement and offer.
He found the loophole that said basically that you could purchase prizes for 10 cents, like
10 cents a point or something, yeah.
He sent them a check for $700,000 and said, I want my jet.
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise he was going to have to buy something like 1.4 million 12-packs.
Yep.
So, yeah. So he teamed up with someone who could help finance it because at that time a Harrier jet was around $30 million.
Yes.
And so, you know, the return on investment was going to be pretty good.
Now, I do believe from the trailer that he did wind up getting his jet. However, spoiler alert, they never said it had to be a functioning jet. So the only thing I can tell you from the trailer, and you know, you go watch the trailer for this. It's called Pepsi. Where's My Jet? The trailer is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
When you go watch the trailer, you'll see the guy up against what looks like a full-size Harrier, but the cockpit is completely like metal. So it's not the plexiglass canopy that you would normally, or Lexan canopy you would normally see.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe they gave him something.
Well, yeah, I don't think that even Pepsi could probably purchase a true Harrier. You know, I don't know. Maybe they could. Maybe they've got that kind of clout,
not for the $700,000 now.
No, but what I was going to show was, Mike, you talked about some of the things that you could buy with Marlboro, you know, money. So here are some of the other items that Pepsi points could purchase you. So a phone card, which kids today don't know what it is. This was a credit card type card where you would dial an 800 number, then you would dial in whatever your card number was, and then you could dial another number you wanted to talk to. And then you wouldn't have to pay, your long distance charge would just be taken off of the credit on that card. I remember those because I had them when I used to travel as a child. A CD case, I'm sure they're talking about like a folio case. Baseball cap, t-shirt, beach towel, beach shorts, sports balls, beach chair. Sunglasses, those would have been cool. Duffel bag, you got to get into the couple hundred or more before you get starting into cool stuff. Ooh, denim jacket. Late 90s, that was still kind of in style. It was on its way out though. But the leather jacket, oh yeah.
Since it's very likely that people may not understand how much any of these things at the top would have actually cost, like how much was a 2-liter, how much was a 12-pack. You didn't have to actually get the points using Pepsi stuff.
Yeah.
So as long as you had at least 15 points, then you could actually buy the points from Pepsi at 10 cents per point.
Yeah. So, but here's a picture of what some of them look like. So there's your bike, there's your shirts, your balls, there's a CD, there's sunglasses, look, beach chair. The duffel bag looks like a Pepsi can on its side. Isn't that awesome? So I mean, there's all these things that you could get, and it was just
Can you go back to your chart that actually had the points?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So that mountain bike.
Yep. So it would have been like $330. Just take the zero off the end, and you'll get the actual price. Yeah. But they were encouraging, but they didn't actually want people to send in money. They wanted people to buy the product.
No,
I mean that was the whole goal.
You can see what these things actually were worth.
Yeah.
Approximately by doing that.
I mean, but that wasn't going to make you cool. I mean, that wasn't going to make you the envy of all of your friends. What was going to make you the envy of all your friends is when you show up on the front quad of your high school in a Harrier jet. That was going to make you cool. Wearing your leather jacket and your sunglasses, carrying all your books in your Pepsi duffel bag. That was going to make you cool.
Now, and they were called Marlboro Miles.
Marlboro Miles, yeah. But yeah, and you don't. I mean, you still see like box tops for education, but you don't see cool things like this. Which is too bad because I buy enough Diet Mountain Dew, I could afford some pretty cool stuff.
I think the last time I saw something like that was from Monster Energy, where it was can tabs, and if you sent in, tabs, you could get like a hat or a shirt or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Pepsi used to have Pepsi Nation with rewards, but I don't know if they're still doing it anymore. Let's see here. What is it? So, I mean, but there is still a Pepsi Nation program. I'm just not sure. Buy PepsiCo products, earn points, and score epic prizes. But it doesn't say, like, what you have to do.
According to Pepsi, it was by far the most successful promotion that they ever had. And I didn't know this part. When this all happened, they fixed the Harrier jet commercial.
Yes.
Yes.
They made it 700 million instead of 7 million and added just kidding.
Yeah. How do you...
Yeah, because they realized that they were pretty much beat.
They were what?
They were beat.
Oh, they weren't beat. They won. It took many years, though.
Did they, though?
They wasted lots of money on lawyers. But yes, a judge eventually said it was a joke.
But did the guy get his jet? That's the question.
No, he didn't get his jet. He did become the chief park ranger for the National Park Service in Denali.
See,
Pepsi Nation is only available. Pepsi Nation and points is only available to resellers. It's not available to customers. So unless I want to get a reseller license and just sell to myself, I'm not eligible. Although I have thought about just having a pallet delivered. It would make life a little easier.
I was going to say, I mean, you getting a reseller, like that's almost like being like an AmSoil distributor, right? You pretty much become the distributor just so you can buy the stuff cheaper for yourself.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that's what wound up happening.
I mean, I'm getting like 12 6-packs a week. So, it could be cheaper to go buy the pallet. So,
That's a lot of.
It's good. It's good stuff.
That's a lot of soda, man.
It is, but the number one ingredient is carbonated water. So you look at it that way. I'm getting my water in.
Yeah, and you know what? You're single-handedly contributing to the CO2 shortage that is making beer become a potential issue.
Well, that's okay. As long as cider is still all right, I'm good with beer going away.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about a CO2 shortage. The helium shortage, that's a bigger issue.
Yeah, because how are people going to talk funny?
It's more of a problem of how are people going to get an MRI?
No, I think talking funny is the primary issue.
Well, I believe they prioritize the production for that very reason. And if I remember right, it's because helium is used to cool.
Yeah, liquid helium is what they use to cool the MRI, and they don't really have any replacement for that.
Well, let's get Tony Stark on it.
Well, yeah, they don't have any replacement for that, but they want all of us to. They're worried about all of us driving electric cars. Here's a life-saving device that we need to figure out how to continue working. All right. All right. So listen, we're dabbling in politics here. So I got to ask the question here: would you vote for a guy who proves his campaign point by putting out a sex tape?
What's he running for?
He is running for Congress.
Because, president, maybe. Congress, no.
He is running for Congress on the platform that sex work should be legalized and regulated. So what does he do? He puts out a sex tape.
So, and here's the thing. I'm all for that platform. I mean, I think it's well established. I thought that the Hooker Hotel was a great idea. I wanted to cash in on that. But I don't know that that's the way to energize you. Well, maybe it is nowadays. Come to think of it, maybe that is the way to energize your base. I don't know. It really depends on what political affiliation he is. He might have cracked the code. Did he say something about votes coming out in boxes or being thrown away or truckloads being hauled across a bridge while he was finishing?
No, he said he was willing to go deep for your vote.
Well, okay, but see, that is just asking a question, because if he's not going to measure up to your standards, then
he is an independent.
Okay, independents have no chance anyway. We all know this. We've all argued about this point many times. So all he was doing is bragging on the taxpayer dime. Oh, is that a political write-off? Could his campaign fund pay for that?
It probably did.
I mean, but legally, could his campaign fund pay for that?
Yes.
I mean, because, Stormy, they got into trouble for Stormy, But, you know, if it's part of his actual platform, could it pay for it legally?
Yes,
Stormy,
definitely.
Yes, Stormy. They did not. Was not consensual. They hired this porn star. She knew what she was being hired for.
Well, Stormy was consensual, but it wasn't disclosed. That was the issue there. But this one, yeah, this one's totally consensual. So, you know,
So, what I can say about all this is that the Daily Beast definitely won the prize for best headline.
Okay.
Sex tape surprise, New York congressional race reaches an unexpected climax.
You know, this is one of those times where I really want, like, one of the late night hosts just to do a montage of all of the different news outlets and what their, you know, headline story title is for this, you know, just so that we can hear not only the repetition but also the variances, because I think it would be great. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I you know, well, I mean, obviously we won't show any images from the pictures, but yeah, and I mean, you know, it's some powerful imagery taken from, yeah. He's trying to garner votes in New York by promoting sex positivity. There's other ways, you know.
So
there's other ways.
So as I'm scrolling through, I was looking for like a picture we could post to show who she is, and you know, decide if she was the best choice for this. But there was another story where a porn star was celebrating at some kind of festival or convention in Vegas, and she jumped into a foam pit and broke her back.
Oh.
Now the thing that I found very ironic about this, because they only had like 2 feet of foam. And
yeah.
She jumped off of a pedestal. So,
yeah.
Right. That wasn't a true foam pit. The thing that I found most funny about this is in all of the articles, she is listed as a Twitch streamer and adult entertainer. So she's got 100+ porn movies to her name. She just started streaming on Twitch. That's going to be her primary now.
Well, I think it's because that was a Twitch convention. So they were trying to pick...
Okay, now that would make sense. I don't recall that being pointed out, but okay.
Because it was
that would make sense.
Yeah, it was a Intel booth.
Okay. Oh, but that actually brings me up to another thing that I wanted to ask you guys about. So Intel making some news this past since the last show.
Yeah, 13th
release.
gen came out.
Well,
So
I was talking about the 750 and 770 ARC graphics cards.
see, there's okay. So yeah, so they have two things going on right now. So they did release the ARC line, which. Okay, so here's what I have heard about the ARC line, and Colin, you're probably more up to speed on this than I am, so fill in the gaps where I miss here. So I have heard that the ARC line the problem is they missed the mark. One, they're trying to go up against, or they're comparing themselves against cards that they can't actually measure up against, especially now that the 4000 series is out by NVIDIA. So they're saying that they're competing with, actually, I think they were competing against like the 2000 series or the very low end 3000 series or 1600 series. But the problem is they can't really keep up in AAA titles. But they do have a specific use case. Actually, I saw an article that said if you want to do encoding, like if you have, say, a Plex server of your own home movies that don't have any copyright infringement because they're your own home movies, obviously, and you want to be able to transcode those and issue those out, then buying an ARC as a secondary graphics card or as a transcoding only graphics card makes sense because of the price, right? You're not going to use it to play games, but you're going to use its transcoding engine, which it is good at doing for the price that it's available at. But you wouldn't use it to play games or to do productivity work because it is not, the drivers aren't ready for that. The hardware is lacking compared to other hardware. That's only like another $100 more. And especially with the 4000 series coming out, all the 3000 series cards are going to get slashed. Plus, we had the crypto mining crash, so you're getting tons of miner cards that are on the market now for cheap. So, and there's still plenty of life left in those cards. So, they came out at a really bad time. If they'd have come out a year ago, they'd have been doing great because they'd have been available on the market at a cheap price, and they would have satisfied the 1080p medium setting gaming needs, which they're still okay at, but that's just going to be met and so much more by other cards that aren't that much more expensive and now are becoming available because supplies are starting to pick back up. So where did I go wrong on that, Colin?
Yeah, so what I'll fill in on is it's obviously a card that was meant to be much more powerful than it actually is. See, when you look at what's on it, how it's spec'd and everything, you're looking at something that was supposed to be going against the top end of everything from NVIDIA and AMD. For whatever reason, they missed the mark, and so they had to lower the price of the cards. I think you hit something very important there, Shaggy, to say they came in at the worst possible time when cards are actually becoming available again. If Intel had these cards, they are actually available, people could buy them, then they might have been able to offload them. Now, what you're not quite correct on, Shag, is absolute newest, top-of-the-line AAA games, the ARC card is actually very competitive to an NVIDIA card or an AMD card. The problem is that anything that's an older game, anything that's on a previous DirectX version, they're trash.
Right,
and
because
it's probably the drivers.
And Intel came out and said, "Hey, listen, we optimized for DirectX 11." But the problem is with PC gaming, we have such a huge back catalog of games that you can't just develop your hardware for the latest and greatest stuff, because the vast majority of real gamers are going to run the gambit of all the way back to DirectX 9, right? And so they may want to, run the latest game today and an old game tomorrow. And so your card needs to deal with everything in between. And, so it's, and that is where they're failing. And actually, what they're doing is interesting to have the backwards compatibility. At least what I read says that they're going through a transformation on the card. So the card is receiving DirectX 9 instructions, and then they're translating that to DirectX 11 for the card to actually process. And that is where the performance penalty is coming in, because, converting those commands into something modern takes a long time to basically translate between those two operation sets. So
that's being done in software.
Okay.
And here's the key part of that. Intel didn't write that.
Right, but I am right about the process.
Yes, but the problem is they outsourced it to Microsoft.
No.
So Microsoft created this translation layer for them. Now the problem is, why does Microsoft care?
Yeah.
They don't.
No.
So there's no way that Microsoft put in enough resources to, even if it's a good idea, which who knows? I don't know if it's a good idea to do it in the first place.
Now,
But there's no way that Microsoft was putting in enough resources to make this something that could compete.
Now, what Intel is making waves about, and is doing well on, evidently, is the 13th gen processors that they've come out with. Now, for the last 5-6 years, we've actually had competition in the processor market, and it's benefited the consumers. Back before the Zen architecture, really, AMD wasn't much of a player in the market. They were the other choice if you absolutely didn't want to go with Intel, but you weren't cranking out tons of stuff with them. They weren't a huge market share. Whereas now, every time that Intel came out with something, AMD was smacking them in the face, going, yeah, watch this. And they were just trouncing them with number of cores, price, maybe not quite getting the same gigahertz, but they were just performance. And with Zen 3, they were doing it again. And so Intel had to step up and say, okay, well, we're going to make a leap forward with 13th gen. And so they've finally done it, and they've retaken the crown for both single-core clock speed as well as multi-core performance. They've taken the lead in at least according to benchmarks, they've taken the lead in productivity and gaming, single-core and multi-core. So, once again, AMD's on top. For how long, we'll see. But right now they did retake their crown, which I'm sure they're very happy about because they haven't had it for a while. And price to performance, they're coming in better than AMD is right now.
Yeah, especially if you factor in that to use that newest AMD chip, you have to have a completely brand new motherboard with completely new memory. Both of those are much more expensive than what you can get on the base Intel processor.
Yeah, we say that, but the thing is, AMD's longevity on a socket is outpacing, is better than Intel. Intel recently has done okay, we'll give you 2 generations on a socket, whereas AMD has said, okay, well, 3 or 4, right? And
right.
Hey,
I'm saying right at this moment in time.
Yeah.
You can buy that new Intel chip, which is faster than the AMD chips, and is benchmarking faster.
Right.
It's cheaper than the AMD chip on its own, and then you put it in the existing motherboard. Where that new AMD chip, that is a new motherboard and new memory.
But it also comes down to where I see this benefiting the consumers and benefiting people, that are really into computers is really not in current gen, right? So anytime a next gen comes out, it means the previous gen's price dropped, right? And even the gen before. I'm rocking 2 10850Ks, and I have no problem with them whatsoever. They're working just fine. Now granted, I would probably see increases in speed if I went to 13th gen, okay? But I'd have to get a new motherboard. I'd have to get new memory. And, the question is, do I need it? And the answer is no. I got more than enough speed, more than enough cores, and more than enough everything now than what I ever had before. And I got it at cheap because 12th and 13th gen came out. So 10850s are taking a dive, which is great for us value folks who go, you know what, I don't have to be latest and greatest. I just have to have something that works. And hell, I got tons of cores.
I'm running an 8th gen i5 right now. I just went to look.
Yeah.
Kim's machine that we just bought her was a 10th gen, brand new.
Yeah.
Right, left over, but I pushed the button to power her machine on, and literally 3 seconds, if that.
Yeah.
And I'm at the login screen.
Yeah. I mean, I got 10 cores and 20 threads. If you would have told me in the 90s, that I would have, you're going to have 10 cores and 20 threads, and they're going to be running at 4.9 gigahertz. I'm like, wait megahertz, 4.9 megahertz, right? No, gigahertz. And, it's ridiculous. We are at a great point for computers right now. The only thing I ever want to increase about this machine is the video card, because I am four versions behind. I'm running a 1070.
Yeah, I'm running it. Well, that's why I brought up the ARC, because I'm running a 1050 Ti. Right?
Yeah.
And I saw the ARC, and during that Prime days, I saw a couple of like 2060 or 1660s that I was like, well, do I want this? Do I want to just wait for the ARC? Do I wait till? And I finally, what I decided was, I'm just going to wait till Black Friday, because I have a feeling that there's going to be some screaming deal.
Yeah.
And I'm in no rush, so I can wait.
Yeah,
But so the other thing that you mentioned that it seemed like that swayed me from trying to buy an ARC was I guess when you look at video encoding, like Adobe Premiere Pro, which is what I use when I'm doing my video editing, ARC was terrible.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the others.
It's because it's new to the market, and two, because it's such a small install base right now. None of the software developers are going to take the time and the effort to optimize for it. And so, yeah, it's not going to be a priority. I would wait until like the 40, because the 4090 nobody's going to buy. All right, some people are going to buy it as a status symbol, but nobody needs it. All right, so wait until the 4060s, 4070s come out. People start buying those. You're going to find 3000 series cards all day long on eBay for at least for MSRP, which you can't find them for very often now. I mean, you upgrade to a 3060 and it's going to beat the pants off of your 1050 Ti. It's just going to happen. So,
I have never started a game up on my machine. I go in and I turn everything on, and it works fine. And I'm running very high resolution, and so I'm running a 9th gen. I'm basically running the top of the 9th gen processors is what I have.
Yeah.
It's an i9 9900 KS. And my video card is an RTX 2080 Super.
Yeah.
I throw games at it. It's fine. I think if I did a lot of multiplayer, maybe I'd care more, because everybody, you just want to get that little extra to be able to win. I hate playing multiplayer games. So,
well, and honestly, now, I started using this. I have this configured now the way that I kind of want it, and so I've got, this is my Steam Deck, and I didn't even go big. I wanted to put EMU Deck, which is basically a virtualization, or not virtualization, but an emulation software. So I put a little SD card in here, and I didn't really want to wait to order a 1 terabyte or anything, so I just put in a 128 because I had it around here. I formatted it, threw on some Wii games of mine and some other stuff. Works perfectly. I sit down here, and while something's working on the computer, I just fire it up and play for a little bit. Or if I need to take a break, it's easy enough. I throw it in my bag, take it to work so I can play at lunch. I mean, it's a great little deck just for that. Emulation runs like a dream, and even the couple of Steam games that I've got work fine on it. And yeah, it's been perfect for me. And the batteries, depending upon what you're doing, the battery can last anywhere between 2 and 4 hours. So
Teresa wrote in saying she doesn't mind playing multiplayer games as long as she doesn't have to talk to anybody. Say, I don't want to talk. I don't want to chat. I don't want to be online playing against people, because I don't like people anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like people, and I don't like feeling like, oh, I'm tired of playing, but if I stop playing, then this person who's trying to beat me is just going to lose their game. So,
well, or you get a bad reputation within the score, or it counts negatively against you, or something like that. Like, listen, I get called away. I don't have time to do that. No, I want to be able to hit the pause button.
That's why,
yeah.
At least with hockey, right? We have a clock. We know what time we have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is on the same clock. It's, I'd rather do that.
And
then I'm burning calories to make up for the beer I'm going to go drink afterwards.
My daughter's boyfriend, his birthday's coming up, and they're going retro. They're doing a LAN party. So they're all hauling their machines over to this one person's house. And she goes, I don't know what games we're going to play. I'm like, okay, Quake, Doom. I'm like, those are the ones that I know were popular. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to get Jill of the Jungle to run on this thing. So don't look at me for games.
I don't know. StarCraft. Well, no, StarCraft and Warcraft weren't really LAN, was it? That was like the beginning.
Warcraft definitely was.
Warcraft was. I don't know if StarCraft was.
Well, StarCraft was supposed to be like the.
Is Portal a LAN party game? I don't know. I just.
No.
Okay.
In fact, the original Portal wasn't multiplayer, really. That was Portal 2 with the cooperative. But that was very internet.
And I'm just like, well, are you guys going to play teams, or are you going to play? And I'm like, what? It kind of depends on that.
All right, so she's talking about like slot games,
slot
online.
machines.
Yeah, that's different. Like I've gone on back before Flash died, right?
Yeah.
And no, I don't mean my Cylon. I mean the plug-in.
Yeah.
Back before that was Adobe stopped, supporting Flash, and it was removed from everywhere. I used to go online and play like 9-ball pool against people, and never knew who it was. But to Colin's point, folks would time out or freeze up, and
yeah, same thing
you
for
wind up
like
just wasting time.
Online poker,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, by the way, Mike, an upgrade from a 1050 Ti to a 3060 will only net you a 223% increase.
Yeah, see, like I saw a deal on a 1660 Super, and the only reason that stuck out in my head is because that's the card that's in Kim's machine. And it pains me, though, that like I'm sitting here with the machine that I custom built, and it cost me more than the machine that I bought her so she could do Photoshop.
Yep.
Yeah, but her machine makes money, so.
This is true.
Speaking of which, holidays are around the corner. And, Mike, do you know where somebody could get customized gifts for Christmas?
Yes, actually, I do. If the exciting thing this year I'm hearing is they have these candy cane advent hangers. So you instead of like an advent calendar, you hang the candy canes through this, and it's personalized.
Wow.
Right? So these are really cool. Butterstown.com.
Okay.
You can actually get them there.
Okay, and that's BUDD?
Yes.
Okay, so
or if you'd like, before I put my foot in my mouth, let me just make sure this works here.
You could also read it over Mike's shoulder.
Yeah. So
So if it's you can also go to ilovepersonalizedgifts.com.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
So good to know. Good to know. So those are places that, if you're looking for something different this holiday season, maybe go there.
Wherever. Anytime you're looking for something different.
Yeah.
Shop small business, right?
That's right. Shop local internet. So before we get into our movie review, let's talk. Let's talk. I got a question for you two. It's kind of like a Dear Abby letter. So this came to the internet, and this is in Yahoo's lifestyle section. It was a question that was posted. and this is a woman writing in to Dear Stephen. She says, so me and my boyfriend have been together for a little over 6 months and living together for 1. Before we got together, I regularly saw sugar daddies, and they were my primary source of income while I attended graduate school. When we started dating, he asked me to stop seeing them. I did not, and he caught one sending money to me. I told him it won't happen again. I've moved to another state and started a new job to be with him, meaning the boyfriend. And it's awesome. I found out that my job pays pretty poorly, especially compared to what I was making before. So I started seeing sugar daddies again. I make roughly an extra $800 a week, and I can afford to do things together and equally split things without worrying. He has a good job and makes about $2,000 more a month than me. I don't see sugaring as a fun time, and I think of it as work. I always use protection and would never put him at risk. Do you think he would understand if I told him? What are your thoughts? So, it was interesting. She had me until she said, I always use protection and would never have him at risk. I mean, she didn't have me completely, but it seemed like maybe she was just providing like escort service without the happy ending until she put that into the text message. So Mike, let's just say, for instance, before you were married, you were seeing a girl and this had happened to you. All right. What would be your opinion if she came to you and said, hey, listen, I know I was going to stop sugaring, but you know what? I felt like you were making so much more money than me, and I wanted to be able to contribute, and I wanted to be able to do things together, and I didn't want to feel like I owed you money all the time or that I had to borrow constantly from you. So, I kind of went back on the sugar train, and, but it's okay because, I'm safe about it. What would be your reaction, Mike?
Well, there's a name for what you're doing if it involves protection, and the politically correct term would be whore. Literally, if you look up whore in the dictionary, a person who gets paid for sex, prostitute, hooker. See also sex worker. See also pornographic artist. See also, here's a politician who wants to be your sugar daddy. See also,
but Mike, no. She did it for you. She did it for the relationship.
No, she did not. No. If that's the case, then we should not be together, because I am making you feel insecure about your financial situation as opposed to no. Sorry. No. Nope. No now. No tomorrow. No next week. Just no.
See, one of my questions would be, when you said you were going to work? When did you come home from one of those and immediately, was I second in line one day, third in line, fourth in line, fifth in line? How many times in a day?
What's the retirement plan here? I mean, so you're going to school.
Well, no, she got done with school. She's done with school. Okay. Yeah. So what's the end game here? Because you paid for this college education that you apparently are not using. What's the end game? Well, Mike, jobs are hard to find.
In the meantime, no.
She doesn't tell us what her field was. It could have been underwater basket weaving. We don't know.
I don't give a no. No. Should she come clean? Yeah, you better get that freaking bleach and Massengill out, because apparently you got more sugar daddies than you know what to do with.
I think that this would be this would definitely be relationship napalm.
That's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it. there are some things that cannot be overlooked, some things that cannot be forgiven, and this to me is one of them.
I mean, because
especially when you told me you're going to stop.
Well, yeah, he asked you to stop. You said you did. He caught you doing it once after you said you stopped, and now you're doing it again. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, it's when you say you're not going to do anything anymore, don't do it. Especially this, you know, especially this. There are some things. Hey, listen, I said I wasn't going to snack anymore. You know, get up and have a cookie at night because it's a little bit on my waistline. But I couldn't help it. The cookie jar was screaming my name last night. You know, that's something you could forgive. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I couldn't make rent this week, so I went out and got my vajayjay plowed by 4 guys and then came home to you. That's not something that you can forgive.
No.
So, you know. Yeah, that.
Before my voice gives out, I think we should get on to the movie reviews here.
All right.
So yeah, so we didn't talk about that. Are we just going to go ahead and do the reviews for both?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do both.
Okay, and I will watch so I did not get a chance to watch one of the movies. I was planning on watching it today, but I got pulled into too many other things to even have it on in the background. So I will give the review for that later. But the movies we had to watch for this evening was The Hidden Temple and Super Hot. And I have a belief that these were 2 completely opposite end of the spectrum movies. Just guessing. Now, my wife and I were able to lay down last night, and we watched the Hidden Temple. But you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll do Super Hot first, because just Colin and Mike were able to stomach that one and watch it. Like I said, I ran out of time. So, Colin, we will start with you. Tell us what you thought of the award-winning film Super Hot.
Award-winning. So, Super Hot is so. There's a couple movies we've watched in the past, which has some similarity. One being that the llama movie, and that this was a relatively low-budget movie. Seems to have been. I don't know who put it together. It has a weird production name where it sounds like this was like a New Zealand thing, but it was actually not. It was and so that was a bit confusing. But here's the thing: whoever wrote and directed, because this is a writer-director thing, is definitely a fan of Kevin Smith, because there is a lot of similarity between this movie and, say, Clerks. You know, there's a lot of people talking to each other in various places. There's more conversation than there is anything else. The thing is, I think he's a pretty good writer. I think the conversations were okay. There was basically almost a vampire subplot. You know, Shaggy, when he first saw this, he thought this was going to be like that other movie we watched where it was like just nonstop fighting the entire time. This turned out not to be that. It was barely there. I think they took what budget they had and used it for that, but it was almost like an afterthought. Which, this is a very short movie. It is not as short as the other movie, but it was still less than an hour and a half. It was 80 minutes something and change. So, I liked this movie. I thought it was short. It didn't spend too much time doing the same plot over and over and over again, which is something that I got really tired of in the past. Where we'd watch these movies that, like, they said, well, we have half an hour of plot, so we're going to make the movie 4 hours long and just keep repeating that same plot over and over again. This movie didn't do that. This movie got in and got its story in, and then it just ended. I applaud that. It was much better than I expected. It is not going to go up the shnikes for me. But yeah, I think I'm going to give it the SEG. I really like this.
Okay. All right. Boy, now I am really... I got to listen to Mike's review, but I'm really intrigued now. Mike?
All right. So, seeing Jackie, the main character, drive back from the non-pizza delivery reminded me very much of an episode of On the Road Again, the way she's just kind of talking and rocking out. There's a scene where the three friends start dancing in the parking lot. And this is after she quits her job. And I think that PTR should, collectively, we should dance like that on the show if someone calls in. They start doing a typical PTR routine of recasting famous movies based on like 80s characters. They did The Avengers, which was very common. The only casting that I disagreed with was they took Jax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy and said he should be played by Bruce Willis. And I mean no disrespect to Mr. Willis, but there's no way in hell that Bruce Willis could be Jax the Destroyer. Drax the Destroyer. I'm sorry. And to Colin's point, this is where I really started to feel like this was a ripoff of Clerks. I posed this question to the finance department, and I asked, how much did this movie cost to make, and was it a Kickstarter? The one guy says the line, "It's always the effing redhead." GD gingers, you can't trust them. I've said that. Present listeners accepted, of course, but you can't trust gingers. They don't have souls. Irony here is that this ginger is a vampire and probably does not have a soul. Here's another fact. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody in the history of anybody has ever been cheered up with a six-pack of Michelob Ultra. And, of course, there's a lesbian subtext because, it's a Kevin Smith ripoff. Dude starts putting salt around the car, but he's sprinkling it. Now, I've watched Supernatural enough to know that you got to have a solid line of salt. Sprinkling around doesn't work. You need a solid line of salt to keep the bad juju away. And then it ends making you think that there's going to be a sequel or spinoff or what have you. So, here's the deal. If you like Kevin Smith movies, you might like this one. I'm okay with most of his movies. I'm going to put this in the same vein as a Kevin Smith movie called Yoga Hosers, which I went back because I swore that we reviewed it. Mm-mm. And it's not on the list, but I swear we talked about it. So I'm going to give this one a smirk. Okay. The only reason it's not getting a meh is because it was only about an hour long. So it really was not a whole waste of time watching it.
Okay.
This was also, by the way, one of those few movies that you're talking about, writer-director things where the writer and director did not play a role in the movie. Like Lamageddon, I think the writer was one of the main characters, which I don't think happened here. So,
yeah, I think you're right.
Points for that.
All right. Okay.
I just want to say, one thing I was thinking as I was watching this movie, Mike, is I was thinking back. Since the last show, I've been watching videos talking about the terrible IT Crowd American remake and how badly cast it was. And I was watching this movie going, if he wanted to make a U.S. version of the IT Crowd, there are some actors in this particular movie that might actually be able to do it. I mean, the second, the character Sam, played by Elijah Cook, he was basically Maz.
Mm-hmm.
And Candace Cale, the lead character Jackie, I mean, she might work as a gender swapped. Dang, it went blank. The other main guy.
Roy?
Yes, she might work as a gender swapped Roy. I could actually. I'm not sure it's a good idea. I'm just saying I could see it. Better than the Roy that they originally picked for the US IT crowd. That is for darn sure. Which, if you haven't seen any of that, was Joel McHale.
Oh God, I hate Joel McHale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think Jackie would have done good as the girl, the relationship manager. What the hell's her name? In the IT crowd.
Jen.
She would have done good on Jen. She would have done good as Jen too. So, but no, that's a good point. And Shaggy, the images you shared, pretty much the Avengers in the '90s. That is exactly who I think they were talking about.
Yeah, they probably stole it from there, so they didn't have to think of it. But yeah,
I do remember Iron Man being Tom Cruise. I remember Brad Pitt's name, Leo DiCaprio, thrown in there. So yeah, this is where they got a lot of this stuff from.
I don't think they did Matthew Broderick. Mila, they didn't have. They definitely did not have Cuba Gooding Jr.
No.
But yeah. All right. I just thought that was interesting, so I thought I'd throw that in our channel.
Yeah.
So the other movie that we had to watch was the Hidden Temple, which was based on a Nickelodeon television show, a game show. So, Colin, again, I will let you go first, and go from there and let us know what you thought of this children's show. Sure.
So, if you were a child of the 90s, not meaning you were born in the 90s, but, you weren't a baby in the 90s, and you remember Legends of the Hidden Temple, and you thought, what would happen if somebody made a kid-oriented hour-long movie about the Hidden Temple? Yeah, that's pretty much that. The original host of the show shows up. There's just joke after joke after joke after joke that would only make sense if you ever actually watched that show back when you were a kid. Different animals being, introduced with different colors. People spending the entire night trying to get the monkey put back together again for no good reason, because it's obviously easy to put together. Just that kind of thing. Stuff that, you probably think of. And at an hour long, it's fine. If it was a 2-hour long movie, it would be Deadly Weapon. But as an hour long thing, it gets in, it does its thing, it gives you a nostalgia kick, and then it goes away again. Great. Nowhere close to the top of the scale. It's just going to go as. Actually, I was going to give this one a smirk. And I think I'm going to stay there at smirk. Yeah.
Okay. Mike, we'll go to you next. Stay in that order.
Okay. Seriously? We're watching a damn Nickelodeon movie. A movie based on a damn game show. How the mighty have fallen. This literally feels like a movie that was made to capitalize on the reboot of Jumanji. This came out a year before the Rock Kevin Hart remake, and it feels like it's going down that path. This is like Kids Bop Jumanji, okay? The kid speaks monkey. When did this become a thing, and why have I not been given access to that Udemy course yet? They got out of the pit of despair, and then Mikey the monkey disappears until the very end when they show... I really don't have much to say about this movie. This is like little Indiana Jones. I didn't watch the game show. Maybe that's why. This is like little Indiana Jones game show, Jumanji movie. Why was this on the list? Shaggy, were you babysitting and figured this was a movie you kill two birds with one stone? I don't. If you don't have kids or weren't a big fan of this show, there's no reason to watch this. But I'll give it a meh. I'm gonna give it a meh. For what it was, I guess it was okay. But
I get you. So, I honestly don't remember why it's on the list. I probably thought, oh, cool, a hidden temple. I probably didn't even associate it with the game to tell you, all right, cool. The hot girls are always welcome. Whatever. I probably didn't even associate it with the game show. To tell you the truth, I probably thought, oh, cool. Indiana Jones, awesome. All right, let's watch this. But you're right. It is Nickelodeon movie. It's PG. It's family friendly. It is an easy watch. It's it's not a typical Shaggy pick whatsoever. Which I'm sure made Colin happy. He's like, hey, there ain't a boob to be found in this whole thing. The only thing that I really made note of during the whole thing was a couple times when they were saying the guide's name, they said the F word instead of Fox. And I turned to my wife and I said, did they just call him? And she goes, yeah, I think they did. And I'm like, well, they slipped that one through past the goalie. But yeah. So I didn't really watch the show, the game show, but familiar enough, from the outset. But you know what? Got grandkids. So, when the grandkids come over and they want to watch something, rather than watching Paw Patrol or Puppy Dog Pals for the billionth time, I am going to suggest, hey, let's watch The Hidden Temple. Because I can stomach it a lot better than the other drivel that they normally have us watch. So, that's where I'm at with this. So I have to give this a smile just because it's giving me one more option that I don't feel like hanging myself when they want to watch it. And I know I'm not going to get in trouble with their parents for letting them watch something. So, like I said, smile for me for this one.
So, level of in-jokeness, and so I'm sure you guys did not understand the in-joke, okay? The original game show.
Did they always give them a prize to go to space camp if they won? Was that it? Because I honestly thought, okay, I hope they're not going to do a reboot of the movie Space Camp, because that would really suck, because it was a fairly decent movie.
Space Camp was one of the normal prizes if you managed to beat the show, which was one of the hardest shows on Nickelodeon. Famously, most of the time, nobody won. Yeah. They would just go home with the
home game
consolation prize, which was usually like a $50 gift card.
Yeah, it wasn't like Double Dare, where they won like every other show.
Yeah.
So, or Family Double Dare. So, all right, time to pick the next movies. So, Mike, what do we got?
1 to 45.
Okay, so going 1 to the number of legitimate presidents, we will go with 5.
Okay, I've been kind of avoiding this one, but this is on Amazon Prime, starring Kate Beckinsale. The movie is called Jolt.
Oh, okay. All right, that looks interesting. And 31.
Hold on, let me...
Okay.
31. That is also on Amazon. I don't know about this because now it's saying it's on Movie Sphere on Amazon.
Okay. How about number 10?
Movies.
How about number 10?
10. Oh, jeez.
When Mike
This is
sounds
on-
dejected, it's always going to be fun.
Well, this is on Tubi.
Okay.
It's called Excuse Me for Living.
Okay.
A romantic comedy in recovery. A drug addict leads a senior men's group to fulfill a legal obligation. It becomes a life-changing journey when he falls for his doctor's daughter.
So, starring Tom Felfrey, Christopher Lloyd, Robert Vaughn, and Wayne Knight,
Okay.
along with Melissa Archer, Jerry Stiller, Ewa De Cruz, and David Gregory.
Oh, baby.
Oh, that ought to be terrible. So, yeah, that should be fun. All right. With that said, I think that pretty much wraps us. Now, Mike, you still have an event coming up. You still have a DJ event coming up.
As long as I'm not incapacitated. I took a COVID test today. What does that tell you? All right, I took a COVID test thinking with the scratchy throat and the sneezing and the runny nose, maybe this is Omicron, but no, it came back negative. So I have, not only do I have the event, this Halloween boo bash at the elementary school on Thursday, but then my hockey season starts on Friday.
Oh.
So.
Fun for
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Seems like fun. All righty. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check out the website, ptrradio.com. It's got all the information for how you can subscribe to the podcast. You can also check us out on social media at PTR Radio on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, all that fun stuff. You can always listen in on the prior shows there as well. Want to make sure that everybody just, has a fun, safe Halloween. You know what? If you're going out in costume, take a selfie and tag us with it, will you? We want to know what you're going as this year. So make sure to tag at PTR Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and just let us know, that you're out there and that you're scaring up a few. I know we've got a couple of diehard Halloweeners in the audience, so it would be great to see what's going on in their lives. We always like to keep up with all of our folks. So, again, just tag us. What the heck? What does it mean? It's a few more characters. It's easy for you to do and boosts our engagement and gets us out there so that more people know about us, because that is the only way that we grow the show, is by you telling folks about it and getting folks to subscribe. So with that said, I think that's about it for us. I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the 8-Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done.
Got the upper hand and Dylan, to him is just a name. Lives 7 country, now he's